Yang berusaha Dr. Raslan Ahmad, Senior Vice President, Malaysia Industry-Government Group for High Technology MIT. Yang berusaha Puan Nur Azalina Yusnita Abdul Rahman, Director of Training Institute of Housing and Local Government, I-KPKT. Firas Rad, World Bank Country Manager in Malaysia. Jeffrey Delmon, Senior Infrastructure Finance Specialist from World Bank, Singapore. Mayors, President, Secretaries, Head of Department and Officers from municipal throughout Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the leadership training for municipality on public-private partnership towards development of smart city via WebEx. I would like to brief a housekeeping rule. Please use headphones to avoid classroom during the training. To ask questions, please address in the chat box. If you encounter any audio problem, please alert the Secretariat through the chat box or try to exit and re-enter the training using the same link given. This training is a collaboration between MIT, with KPKT, I-KPKT, World Bank and JKT as a part of capacity building for Global Environment Facility GEF6 Sustainable City Development in Malaysia. This e-training serves as a set of training and guidance on best practices in municipal public-private partnership, leadership skill, smart cities experience, and global lesson learned, which conducted by World Bank and other subject matter experts. The objective of this training are to improve municipal leadership skill, to create long-term partnership between municipal and the private sector, and to share best practices. Without further ado, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Puan Nur Azalina Yusnita Abdul Rahman, Director of Training Institute of Housing and Local Government, I-KPKT, to give a welcoming remark. Please, ma'am.
Terima kasih kepada Anisha. Yang berbahagia Datuk-Datuk, distinguished speakers and participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan good morning. Before we start, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who have generously helped us to make this event a success. We couldn't have done this without your kind support. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us this morning and for the following session. We are pleased to welcome those who are interested to join this online training, which is organized by I-KPKT in collaboration with our outstanding partner, MIT. At the early stage, I was told that we targeted about 70 participants, but just now my Cik Mazlan told me that we have more than 70, 94. Okay, Alhamdulillah and thank you very much. Yang berbahagia Datuk-Datuk, distinguished speakers and participants, this is our first online training where we are collaborating in a private partnership with MIT. Our previous session were more tailored towards the public sector and government agencies. On behalf of I-KPKT, we are proud and grateful for this kind of event and strong cooperation with MIT. This training is conducted online, but not due to the prevailing pandemic, but it's concurrently with new trend and which we should participate academically. In I-KPKT, we have designed about 45 online training sessions which we plan to organize from July to December this year. So we have upgraded our IT technology and facilities academically to put in our needs. For today's sessions, we will focus to knowledge sharing sessions on knowledge sharing session on the experience in smart city with our prominent speakers and moderators. These speakers and moderators are carefully selected for their expertise, wide experience, initiative, and practices. For today, we have four very outstanding and prominent speakers who are Dr. Siti Mohaza Shezana from our Ministry PPP. Hi, Doctor. And then yang berbahagia, the Director General of PLANMalaysia, yang berbahagia Datuk Muhammad Anwar Maidi. Assalamualaikum Datuk. And then the Mayor of Bandaraya Pulau Pinang, yang berbahagia Datuk Registered Architect Yu Tiong Siang. Morning Datuk. And also yang berbahagia Puan Hajah Noraini Haji Roslan. The speakers share with us their diverse experience in smart city benchmarking. This session will take 1 hour before we proceed to the Q&A session. I also wish to express my special thanks to our moderator, Mr. Jeffrey John Delman from the World Bank of Singapore. He's not only a moderator but also a presenter in the next session. Thank you very much, sir, for your participation and contributions. I don't wish to take too much of your time. So as we are allocating sometimes for my introductory remarks, so I assure that this training will be in immense benefit, and the next session will be just as fruitful for every one of you. So thank you very much. Thanks, Anisha.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Madam. I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Raslan Ahmad, Senior Vice President, Malaysia Industry-Government Group for High Technology, might to give the opening remark. Please stop.
Thank you, Anisha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all of you. Firstly, allow me to welcome all of you to our leadership training. My sincere appreciation to all of you for taking your time off from your busy schedule to be with us here today. This is our first leadership training session for this year. For your information, this training is part of the capacity building activities under Global Platform for Sustainable Cities, a global project with strategic linkages under GEF6 led by UNIDO and World Bank, with the cooperation of the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, I-KPKT and Malacca State. This project engaging 27 cities in 11 developing countries, and in Malaysia, Malacca was selected as a demo city. The project provides value to Malaysia in terms of supporting the current 11 Malaysia plan in pursuing green growth for sustainability and resilience. The objective of the project are to promote an integrated approach to urban policy making and management that is guided by evidence-based, multi-dimensional and broadly inclusive planning process that balance economic, social, environmental resource consideration, and to build awareness and institutional capacity and promote investment in climate risk mitigation technologies through demonstration projects. It was launched on 2nd of May 2017, where Malacca was chosen as the first city among the other cities for the launching of the programs. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea to have leadership training today is mooted by former Secretary General of KPKT, who believe in order to transform the city into smart and sustainable cities, it should begin with the awareness among the city leaders. One of the key elements which city leaders need to be familiar with is that transforming towards smart and sustainable city is not all about technology. It's about strategic thinking, innovation, project management, and leading transformational change through partnership. This leadership training is a continuity from our previous municipal financial training, which we held last year. We specifically designed this training for municipal government and staff seeking to implement the public-private partnership or PPP to help meet their infrastructure development needs with an emphasis on practical guidance that reflects the varied context and real-world challenges. The term PPP encompasses a variety of approaches to long-term partnership between municipalities and private entities to deliver public services with the private partners bearing significant project risk. For your information, I personally have gone through similar training conducted by GEF, World Bank. Thank you, Jeff. When I attended PPP City Academy in conjunction of Third Global Platform Sustainable Cities meeting in Sao Paulo, Brazil in last year. We believe this training will inspire the municipal to broaden their roles from being the direct provider of public services to becoming the planner, facilitator, contract manager, or regulator who ensures that local services are available, reliable, meet key quality standards, and are affordable for users and local economy. Once again, on behalf of Mike, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, KPKT, I-KPKT, Jabatan Kerjaan Tempatan, and our strategic partner, World Bank, especially Jeff and Dr. Faris, for your continuous support. I would also like to thank our panelists for your contribution and participation. On this note, I wish the training to be a very successful one and all of you to have a fruitful and stimulating discussion. I wish you all the best, and once again, congratulations for being a part of this exciting program. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raslan. For the final remark, I would like to invite Dr. Firas Raj, World Bank Country Manager in Malaysia, to deliver his remarks. Please, Doctor.
Great. Thank you, Anusha, and selamat pagi and selamat sejahtera, everyone, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu wa ba'd. Yang berbahagia, Dr. Siti Muhaza Sheikh Zanal, Undersecretary in the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, Dr. Raslan Ahmad, Senior Vice President of the Malaysian Industry-Government Group for High Technology, MITE, Puan Ms. Azlina Yusnita binti Abdul Rahman, Director of the Training Institute of Housing and Local Government, mayors, presidents, distinguished colleagues from cities and municipal governments throughout Malaysia. I'm thrilled on behalf of the World Bank Group Inclusive Growth and Sustainable Finance Hub in Malaysia to join you this morning for the opening session of a leadership training course for municipalities on PPPs and the development of smart cities. And I thank the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, MITE, Jeff, UNIDO, and our World Bank team led by Jeffrey, and all other sponsors and contributors for organizing this important online knowledge learning and skills building training course. And allow me to say that indeed knowledge sharing represents a core part of the World Bank's development partnership with Malaysia, which revolves around the sharing of global experience, development lessons, and policy innovations for the benefit of all countries, including Malaysia. On the topic of this training course, we believe in the World Bank, and you would have heard this from Jeffrey and other colleagues, that smart cities and PPPs at the municipal level are an important part of Malaysia's future development agenda. And let me briefly explain why. First, with Malaysia's high rate of urbanization, the role of municipal governments in supplying local development solutions for large parts of the population is becoming increasingly more important. These solutions have to strive to make urban centers more livable, more connected, more economically prosperous, and municipal officials have a big say in how these solutions are going to be designed and implemented. Second, in view of the other crisis impacting our planet, global warming, and the threat it poses to human communities around the world, cities around different regions or across different regions have joined the fight and in many cases are taking the lead and coming up with ways to become more energy efficient, more green, and more sustainable. Lowering our collective carbon footprint is still a profoundly important agenda, as is the adaptation to climate consequences of a warming planet. Here too, cities can play a very big role. Third, partnerships between municipal governments and the private sector have always been important. Yet in the age of COVID-19, they become even more so. As everyone knows, this global economic shock is affecting 90% of economies around the world and will lead to around a 5% contraction in economic growth. That's global economic growth. Malaysia itself, we are estimating, will see a contraction of 3.1% this year. With this type of economic shock, naturally fiscal pressures at the federal level will encourage municipal governments to think of other ways to mobilize resources in support of important local development agendas, covering a wide array of sectors, urban transport, municipal waste, and other areas, and ways to make their cities more attractive to investors, both domestic and foreign. And fourth, PPPs, in my own experience, are not only an effective channel for resource mobilization, but can also play an important role in improving the quality of service delivery at the local level. The extent of the improvement depends on how the PPP transaction is structured in terms of incentives, in terms of accountability, and ultimately how it is implemented. As Malaysia looks to develop its next 5-year development plan and looks towards becoming a high-income nation by 2024, that is our forecast, I believe it will be more, it will focus more in the coming years on the theme of local governance as a way to make qualitative improvements in the quality of life for all Malaysians. Achieving this goal will be easier for the country if public-private partnerships exist at all levels of government, particularly at the local level. Now, with these thoughts, I would like to thank once again the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, MITE, and all of the organizers and participants, and wish you all a successful set of discussions over the next few days. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Anusha.
Thank you, Dr. Firazrat. Now, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Siti Muhaza Sheikh Zainal, Under-Secretary, Policy and Inspectorate, Ministry of Housing and Local Government, to give an introduction to the smart city. Please, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Anusha. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all, especially to Dr. Raslan Ahmad, my colleague from MITE, Puan Nur Azalina Yusnita Abdul Rahman, Director of I-KPKT, Dr. Firas Arad from the World Bank, he's a World Bank Country Manager in Malaysia, and Mr. Jeffrey Dalman, Senior Infrastructure Finance Specialist from World Bank Singapore, mayors, presidents, secretaries, heads of department and offices, as well as all those who are from the municipals throughout Malaysia who are with us this morning. Thank you so much for having me to give some talks about smart cities. As everyone knows, we have had our national smart city framework on the run, and it is a reference to all to pick up smart cities planning and implementation at the local government sectors or the municipal sectors. So for the first line of my talk, I would want to deliberate a little bit about the content of this framework. It had actually been exposed or deliberated in front of our local government's officials, and today perhaps it's just some hints or some little recap on it. Can I go to the slide, please? Next. Okay, overall, Malaysian urban population, which was 76% in 2018, is projected to increase to 81.8% in 2030. So we are forecasting an increase of up to 87.3% in 2050. As everyone knows, Malaysians are now, rushing out for urban areas, looking for jobs and better opportunities. And because of that, cities are starting to feel the pain points as congestion, pollution, and inefficient deployment of urban services has become a rising concern of KPKT. And we are doing so much initiatives and plannings for the future to come. In fact, from now, we have started to drafted better policies for our RMK National 12th Plan, and we hope that this will be taken up by all the local governments too. Growing urban population also puts strains on city infrastructure and capacity such as housing needs, water, food supply, and public amenities. We are wondering whether the knowledge of our local government officials have come to a part where built environment disciplines are already inbuilt in the organization and the thinking of the policy planners and the implementers. It is very crucial, but which I would explain a little bit further later in my talk. With all these pain points, we need to have smart cities in plan and implementation. Okay, as you see in the, I'm going to do a little bit bilingual for an effective talk with my colleague, the mayors and all the presidents who are with us today. So as you can see, kita ada pencemaran alam, kesesakan lalu lintas, pengurusan sistem pekerja. These are among the pain points that we have been facing. And there is no a mark of decrease in these challenges. In fact, we're looking at more challenges to come. It's become very complex. Okay, next. Next slide, please. Why do we have to have bandar pintar? Okay, pertama kita nak meningkatkan kualiti hidup because we know dalam zaman dunia teknologi ini, rakyat yang memerlukan kualiti hidup yang lebih selesa despite the fact that they are living in cities and that city can give them the platform of either to make them live better or making them live in more stressful manner. So we have to be very careful in talking about giving quality life to the people of Malaysia because they know what they want. So smart cities could be one of it, and it has been sort of a new tool to live in the coming era. And we have to be very smart in doing the smart cities, meaning to say you need to know how to do or pick up doing smart cities. Okay, number two, smart cities help to generate economy and also job opportunities. And of course, mengurangkan isu alam sekitar. And at the end of the day, what we want to know from the local governments is for the local government sector to actually able and capable of delivering good and efficient services to the rakyat. Next. Okay, menerusi garis panduan Smart City negara, kita ada 7 komponen bandar pintar, smart people, smart mobility, smart living, and all those smart digital infrastructure, which is the core, and we are into it through our fiberization link, smart economy, smart governance, now which for your information, Dr. Firaz and Mr. Jeffrey, in Malaysia, smart governance has become the #1 smart component which has been championed by us all, but not the other components yet. So that means in terms of smart governance, every local government has already got that kind of touch or a certain percentage of being an governance officers or services they're giving to the people. So daripada garis panduan ini, tuan-tuan, kita boleh daripada framework smart city ini, kita boleh menggunakannya untuk merujuk menggunakan kemajuan teknologi yang dipacu oleh kerajaan buat masa ini bagi menjayakan agenda smart city. Dalam kerajaan kita sekarang ini, kita sedang mesti contohnya bersama-sama dengan KPKT dan KASA menderu-deru sedang menggariskan dasar dan polisi serta kajian untuk memastikan teknologi digunakan secara maksimum membolehkan bagi membolehkan teknologi come in as one of the tools untuk pembangunan negara dan juga rakyat. So KPKT is actively involved in it and putting in smart cities as one of the agenda that they have to look into. Okay, next. So that's the book that you need to see. Okay, these are just the kandungan rangka kerja of the framework. As in so far, we haven't yet come to the part where we actually map on the success of the local government that are now doing partly some kind of smart cities or an initiative on smart cities. Thus we cannot say who had come to meet with the indicators, but we're going to be doing that. It's just that we are looking at helping all the local governments to understand and have better awareness on how to do smart cities. As you all know, smart cities can be ranging from like starting it very small, even from having apps in your cities, to the bigger parts where you're talking about the whole ecosystem where investors are in, partners, industries are, with you to build a complete set of smart cities. But that does not mean by just having apps, you're not a smart city. So my visit to Seattle, for instance, they just started up something very simple, but they consider themselves as a smart city, which whatever that gives benefit to your community, that will also mean, and that your community appreciates and will involve with the program, we can consider that as a smart city. So do not think that doing smart city is that you have to really have billions of investment and that you have to, really go through hard ways doing it. You can start it small, and the most important part is you actually tackle the most pain point that your people are feeling, So this is the beauty about smart city. So don't get scared about when we say technology and smart city. There are always approaches that you can pick and make it suitable to your environment and your financial background. Okay, next. As I've told you earlier, but this is just step by step. You need to identify the issue, kenal pasti isu dan cabaran perbandaran. When you start to identify issues, we tend to put all those that you think are problems to your cities. But what is the most important is you have to prioritize which pain point does your people actually want you to make a change on. So this is crucial because we want you to be focused and really target the right approach, in building a smart city in your city. And pada langkah keduanya, as I've told you, you have to prioritize and then strategize and think about the strategies that you want to come and bring in and the type of smart cities that you would, put into planning and easy implementation. Do not start so big a scale that you are not able to actually see whether your objective would be, would be feasible. So start small. Try to talk to many parties. We here in KPKT, we have subject matter expert lineups, so you can come to us for a free advisory. But of course, on budget, we have to put that aside first because federal government we have to vet on some budgets. So on smart cities, only some that will give benefits to many would be given priority, especially a project that could be scaled up, which is it can be copied by other local governments. That is the kind of a concentration given by the government to the PBTs who want to step into doing smart city at a larger scale. But of course, at the lower scale, like having apps, I'm sure you have all the experts, all the young and the youth in your city for you to get them to come into picture, and you have to think of the duration, the time, and the cost, as well as the resources that you need to have in terms of starting or picking up, doing smart city. And at the end of the day, you're talking about implementing, monitoring, and also like looking at back whether you need to review because technology runs fast and you have to be very fast enough to see what other things that need to come in between to correct your line of doing smart city. So I rather would want to advise you to start small, because it's not about the recognition that you already have a smart city. It's about your people who actually finally will benefit from what technology that you have brought in could bring to your people. Okay, next. Okay, number one, I would like to stress in the process of doing smart city is engagement. And before you're doing engagement, you need to teach your people about, guide them about what smart city is all about. What do you have to offer? What they can benefit them from, and you need to empower them to actively participate, not just participate, but actively participate. And I really mean it, actively participate. There are so many types of participation. What we're talking about is having active participation by the community through having some kind of, a series of programs, awareness programs, and a series of engagements, and as well as perhaps a setup of a jawatan kuasa yang mengandungi penduduk-penduduk sendiri sebagai antara ahli di dalam jawatan kuasa tersebut. Kemudian kita pergi kepada fasa 2 yang tempoh 2019-2020 tu, you jangan tengok, you tengok your own capacity and ability to frame cara mana, cara gaya tuan-tuan nak bangunkan smart city tu, ya. Kemudian fasa 2-nya ialah pelaksanaan. Okay, kalau nak start small tadi by having gadget saja, pelaksanaan dia memang cepat. But when you talk about having partners, you're talking about investors, and so much, involvement from other role players in the ecosystem, then the duration would be longer. And you have to put in a lot into your capacity, into the system. You have to gauge everyone in, and that is vital. Engaging everyone in including the law sector, the police, yourself, of course, very important, the federal government, the health, now since we have this COVID era coming in, so all sectors must be included in your planning. There is no better smart city unless you really have everyone in the game. Okay, so that is on the implementation. I may not be able to actually dwell it lengthily here, but that's the part. I would like to advise again, if you start small, the winning game is short. You can gain it in a shorter term, but if you're talking in a big scale where you're talking about investors and whatnot, it should be a longer term. And there is no such thing as you will achieve it for the longer term. You may have to foresee it takes some time. Okay, and of course at the end of the day, which we want everyone, like the government would also want to see that smart city actually had come to its success story, and we want that to be replicated by other PBTs, and we want that to be scaled up in the city surrounding. So these are the kind of building up smart cities in Malaysia that I'm talking about. Next. Okay, ciri kepimpinan. Okay, now this is a little bit, this is actually my last layer of talk. Apart from what you can see in the slide, I would want to say that the critical part of building a smart city in your city is actually the leadership. Why I say this is because underneath is the Inspectorate Division. We go out to see all of you guys and check your ratings, and we see that one of the factors that is critical is about leadership. So number one, best quality of leaders at the local government is when they actually empower, guide, and make their community knowledgeable enough and active to participate in your planning, policy planning, and implementation. So that's number one. And in this time of post-COVID, there's no such thing as normal will come to return. It's time to adapt. Okay, so in fact, adaptation or adaptability is the most valuable skill of 2020, so they say. So embracing uncertainties and unpredictable events, you need to have that adaptability skills among the leaders in the local government. So what do you have to do with this? With this, you should see being adaptable to changes. You need to know what kind of technology you want to put in, or what kind of smart city you want to put in. So there's a lot of work, a lot of thinking need to be done. This number one skill of adaptability is crucial at the moment. And the number three, I'm seeing that matters on built environment disciplines has become very crucial when you talk about having sustainable cities, smart cities. Smart cities is part of sustainable cities, it's an accelerator actually. So having to not to have built environment disciplines in your organization or in your planning would, bring about failure to develop and implement local plans, failure to enforce regulations, failure to understand procurement methods and forms of contact the right one, increase of use of a design and build structure, and you may tend to lose control. And we have to be, really in the know of what actually investors when they want to come in. You need to know the whole thing about them coming in, the whole ecosystem, the impact, and how you would manage, the whole thing about having helps or assistance from other sectors. So built environment discipline is very important. Go back and try to study and give a sense of exposure to your officers on what built environment is all about. It is very crucial because we are seeing that countries like us, Malaysia, Thailand, and at the ASEAN countries, we are lacking of that knowledge. So please go into detail into that matter. And don't forget to build trust among yourself, build trust on what you have, what people has been offering, and study. For instance, if you have this credit ratings, do you know what credit ratings is all about? Because we've given you training. So you have to build trust to others to see that you are capable. So before you build the trust, you have to do credit rating. I wonder whether our PBTs are already doing the credit rating, because if you have credit rating, you will know how far you can go, how big is the scale of your smart city that you can go, doing it. Because credit rating will assist you in some sense of you can make ask for assistance, looking for loans, dan sebagainya. So this is crucial, doing credit ratings. If you don't know or not sure what it is all about, we can get back to Mike and help us on this one. And innovation, okay? We are now living in a raw resources era, scarce raw resources. So innovation and creativity is an in thing now. We have to use a lot of strategic thinking, brainy thinking, so that you use that part. Singapore is one of the best examples where the nation, with its scarce and resources, they use the brain. It is the thinking part, and adapting to the technology and using all the whatever that they have with us to move forward. And they've gone, I think they have proven quite far in this term. So innovation and creativity is crucial for you guys to hold on and work on it. And number 3 is to make change. It's now. Making change is now. As I'm saying, post-COVID, everything has gone to a stop, and it's the best opportunity and best time for us to relook and review where you are now and make the best policy and get the best direction for your city to grow, especially in smart cities and towards sustainable cities. On that note, thank you very much. I give it back to you, Anisha. Sekian, terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Siti. But before I let you go, there's one question. So, do you think do you have to have a rich city to be a smart city?
Well, as at one point, yes, if you're talking about a large scale of smart city, you need to have infrastructure, your digital infrastructure input. You have to have some basic technology kind of. But if you are talking about the smaller part of smart city, you could be, gauge some ideas from the youth. You should be able to collect the young ones to help you making up apps and grow up with ideas, but get your decisions and ideas from your people. Whatever that you have with you, innovation and creativity comes in. This is where you can start small with whatever that you have with you. You don't have to have billions and even millions of millions and billions of money to start a big a smart city. Having apps, which I think is very normal nowadays, can be considered a smart city. Apps as in to help the people to come to an extent where the everyday problem would be at come to an ease after you have applied the technology, and that technology is as simple as app. So you don't have to become a rich city to be a smart city. All right. That's my answer.
Well said, Dr. Siti. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Our next program is a knowledge sharing session on experience in smart city benchmarking. This session will be moderated by Jeffrey Delmon. He is a senior public-private partnership specialist with the World Bank since 2005, advising globally on infrastructure finance and public-private partnership. He is also an author of numerous books and articles on public-private partnership. Also joining this session are the panelists. First is Yang Berbahagia Datuk Town Planner Muhammad Anwar Maidin, Director General PLANMalaysia. Yang Berbahagia Datuk has a vast experience in field of town and country planning, in plan and policy making, planning advisory or development control. Our second panelist is Datuk Architect Yu Tong Siang, Mayor, City Council of Penang Island. Yang Berbahagia Datuk is a trained architect and commerce as the Mayor of City Council of Penang Island since January 2018. Yang Berbahagia Datuk is also corporate member of Malaysia Institute of Architects and President of Malaysia Association Local Authority Mala and Chairman of the second Indonesia-Malaysia-Thailand Growth Triangle Green City Mayor Council. Our final finalist is Town Planner Noraini Roslan, President of the Subang Jaya Municipal Council. She has served as a President of Subang Jaya Municipal Council since 2018 with 20 years diversity experience in urban planning with its determination in sustainable city. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Jeffrey Delmon to moderate the session. Over you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Anusha. And thank you all for joining us in this training. This is very exciting. This is day 1 of 4 and our first big panel session. I've seen a couple of comments come in the chat, but please remember, put your comments in the chat, your questions, and then we'll raise them during the Q&A session. We're not allowing people to speak because of the noise and the challenges and the complexity. And given this fantastic panel we've got, with this fantastic diversity of experience and exposure, the background, I promised them I wouldn't tell you how many years of experience they have, but there is a lot of experience here. So this is really exciting panel. Looking forward to this discussion. Again, please put your questions in the chat and we'll raise those. And we're going to start by going through the different panelists and allow them to each do a presentation of sort of give their background and their sense of what they've heard so far. And then we'll go from there to more specific questions. So I believe, Mr. Mayor, are you going first? And you're still on mute if you're still, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So is that Dato' Town Planner Muhammad Anwar first, or I?
Yeah, I think I can start first.
Okay. Let Datuk go.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey, and to all the leadership trainings participants. Thank you, Mike and I-KPKT, for inviting me to be a panelist this morning. I would like to say about the emphasis toward making Malaysian city to the smart city actually has been highlighted in the Malaysian's economic and spatial development plans, such as in 11 Malaysian plans, and of course will continue in 12 Malaysian plans, and also in the national physical plans and the national urbanization policy. The aim is to lift the Malaysian city competitors and support the Malaysian commitment to the global agenda. And for your, I think for our friends in local authority, I think maybe know that PLANMalaysia is one agency under the Ministry of the Housing and Local Governments, and one of the lead federal agency in superhit planning and implementation of the smart city in Malaysia. We are also involving a lot in the preparation of the Malaysian Smart City Framework 2025